What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Tuesday, people. Happy Tuesday. I know I was supposed to do this show on Monday, but I had a lot on yesterday. I was out and about, got back late, and then, yeah, you know how the day sometimes gets away from you. But big up, we got a lot to talk about. We'll go over the weekend. Not going to go over it as much detail as I would on the Monday, because to be honest, the Arsenal game feels a long way away. So I'd rather look ahead maybe to the game against Brentford more than looking back. We'll briefly go over the game against Sunderland, but big up to everyone locked in. Lots to talk about. A lot of it really came from the Man City Liverpool game. That felt like we were so close, to almost being there, if I'm being honest. But I think it showed us that we're still a long way away. But what I really want to, I don't know, the message I want to put out there, because I'll be honest, Sunday, even going into Monday, I was like, nah, man, Liverpool, they let us down, blah, blah, blah. But we've got to understand that we're the only ones that can win this league title. We've been in this situation before. I made the foolish mistake of doing a watch along for Tottenham Man City. Oh, are Tottenham going to do us a favour? And oh, Son, he's missed on purpose. I fell for that trap. The reality is, if you've got to rely on a weak Tottenham to win you a title against Man City, you haven't done your job properly. If you've got to rely on a weak Liverpool to beat Man City, you haven't done your job properly. We have got to win this title on merit, on the fact that we are the best team in the Premier League. Yeah, we might get the odd favour, probably when we least expect it. But we got to win games of football. And you know what? I sat there yesterday and I thought, we beat Sunderland 3-0. This is a team that we drew with away from home. We smashed them. First half, we weren't great. Second half, we did the business. Wasim, we don't talk about anything that I may or may not have said or done in that stream in any sort of Liverpool context. If you were there, you were there, you experienced it, you understood the reasons why I may or may not have said certain things, but I did not say anything in a positive light to do with Liverpool. But if you were there, you understand. And you know my reasons. We were all there, we all felt the same way, but I'll be the fall guy for it. But yeah. Allegedly. But big up to everyone, man. Yeah, listen, as I was saying, we beat Sunderland 3-0. We played really well. Gyökeres came off the bench, scored 2 goals, positive performance, clean sheet. We got to take the positives out of that. The positives are we're a game closer to the title. But yeah, it still hurts that they came back. When Szoboszlai scored, I thought we were there. But yeah, Brentford this week, people. Man said I had to cancel my order for a tiger in my bathroom. I'm telling you, hangover settings, man. Vegas was getting booked. The passport was out. I was looking at flights. I said, nah, you're going to have to wait. We ain't there yet. But listen, we're playing well. Yeah, since that Man United game, we've answered our questions, and we have to continue this week. Brentford will be a tough game. Dijon said Simon Jordan cooked any. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, I just heard a clip. I think it was about 30 seconds long that TalkSport uploaded, and yeah, he's destroying her. He's destroying her. I can't lie, but she talks some foolishness, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, maybe when I get that second channel sorted, we could react to things like that. But yeah. 13 games to go, exactly. 13 games to go, people, and 11 wins might be enough. 10 wins might be enough if we actually beat them. I was watching a bit of that. I'm going to watch all of it. Big up Free Gaza, Wrighty and Burkamp. I think it was on the overlap, right? Yeah, I've got to watch all of that. Do you know what it was? I started watching it and I was busy and I thought, you know what? This is Ian Wright and Dennis Burkamp. I'm going to pay this the respect of watching it when I've got the time to really acknowledge what's being said. Those kind of interviews, you got to watch them when you've got a nice half an hour and you've got, some time to do it. You don't rush through them things. I need to listen to that properly. But yeah, listen, let's just quickly look back over the weekend. Why have I actually got the I just said don't concentrate on City against Liverpool and it's there on the screen. Oh man. Yeah, forget about it. This is why I don't like doing Man City watch-alongs. They just cause pain. I don't want to watch them. I won't be doing any watch-along for that Fulham game. The next time I'll probably do a Man City watch-along will be the cup final when we play them. I don't want nothing to do with them. Let's focus on ourselves. Come on, man. Yo, Gyökeres was hitting the celebration on the floor. What are we doing now? We let them kind of overshadow our weekend. Gyökeres came off the bench. You know what I mean? Yock the builder settings, brick by brick. We turn a negative into a positive. People said, you're being disrespectful, Yock the builder. But he's building. He's going to build us the foundation to our title victory. Still not quite sure what Martinelli was doing. Not in terms of the pass, but brother, what is that celebration? Like, I don't know what that is. Like, Gyökeres has been at the club half a season. Do you not know what his celebration is? Man's covering his eyes. I don't know what was going on, but Nelly, we'll let it slide, bro, because the assist was great, and you know what? Martinelli's playing well. Martinelli is playing well at the moment, but I just don't. You guys feel a bit confused with Arsenal's left wingers? Like, I really don't understand Arsenal's left wingers. Yeah, he's just remixing it, you know what I mean? Maybe hear no evil, see no evil or something. I don't know. But Arsenal's left wingers confuse me because at one point you're saying Trossard, he's been our best attacking player this season. Maybe Martinelli's got to go if we go and get a Yildiz or someone like that. Then Trossard's form drops. Then Martinelli starts playing well. Then you're sitting there going, yeah, but Martinelli's younger and Trossard's in his 30s. And them two confuse me. You've just got to play one until that player drops out of form. And then the other one comes back and you drop him out of form. Because I reckon that earlier in the season, you would have said, let Martinelli go. Now you're probably going, boy, would you let Trossard go? I don't know. That's going to be a tough decision in the summer. I've got no doubt Arsenal are going to target a left winger and they're going to need to let one of them go. I don't know, you know. It's a tough one. I've always thought that Arteta loves Martinelli. I think Martinelli actually is an incredible impact substitute. You know, if imagine being a right back, 70 minutes gone, and a fresh Martinelli's coming on, catching you on the break. You'd be like, he's amazing at that role. They're both, if you mix those two together, they'd be an unbelievable winger. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Martinelli, you would get a lot more money, mid-20s, Brazilian. Trossard, nearly 31. That's a tough one. I don't know. But I think one of them have definitely got to be moved on. Listen, the way Noni's playing at the moment, I think there's an argument that Martinelli plays right wing and Trossard goes on the left because I'll be honest, man, Noni at the moment is not. It's not quite cutting it for me. I've got to be honest. For 52 million, you know, the end product is not end producting people. You know what I mean? The cross was too crossy. The shot was too shotty. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, big up to everyone locked in. Make sure you hit the like button. Is Trossard 32 this year? I thought it was 31. If he's 32, then welcome to Saudi, Trossard. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm way off. He's 31 already, although he's not 32 till December. He's got another year left on his contract. See, I'll be honest with you. I reckon... Yo, I like that one. He's non-existent. I reckon Trossard might be the one that they'd let go because if you look at Trossard's got a year left on his deal this summer. Would you really extend Trossard's contract? I don't think you would. So I reckon they'll keep Martinelli. And Martinelli's still got, I think this says he's got 2.5 years left. So, I mean, yeah, 32's not old. And the only thing you could say actually is that Trossard is not built around speed, so it's not like he's a pace merchant, that's for sure. Anyway, let's quickly go over this game. I'm not really going to go over it too much, but listen, second half we were brilliant. We know Arsenal usually turn up for one half. We scored just before half time. Zubimendi, listen, for me, Zubi, I think that role can be changed at times. I know I always use the Vitinha one. I'm not saying he's as good as Vitinha, but I'm saying I think he can play in that role. And I think sometimes Arsenal have to pick games and go, okay, physically this game's more demanding. We want Declan Rice in the 6 for his defensive ability and move Zubimendi into the 8 because he can play. You know, not many players in the Arsenal team would have hit that shot. And the way he hit it, and trust me, he's got talent, he has. I think certain games, when we're up against it defensively, those two should swap. But brilliant finish. And then Gyökeres came off the bench, quality goals. I mean, look, the tappings, the first one. The first one is actually a very good finish. To say he's slipping, he gets a lot of power in it. The second one, listen, I've spoken to you a number of times on the member stream. You're ultra positive. I love your positivity. Let's enjoy Zubimendi, but calm down. He said Zubi is definitely better than Vitinha. It's not even a conversation. I mean, I think it definitely is a conversation. You know what I mean? I'm tempted to give you 3 minutes just to have a look at Vitinha highlights. He's a Champions League winner. He's just been named in European Team of the Year. And you're saying it's not a conversation. Leahy, just take 3 minutes, gather yourself. YouTube is readily available. I don't want you to leave the chat, but just, stay calm. We're in a title race, and I think we need calm at the moment. To say it's not even a conversation is insane, but, the grass was too grassy, Ezzy was too Ezzy. You know what I mean? The chat spoken, Leahy, by the way. I was willing to let it slide, but they said, yo, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? What are we doing here? But I like it. Robbie had me on the ropes when he mentioned transfers. He said, Arsenal tried. You come and make Tonali. Nope. Okay, that's how they try. He never had me on the ropes, man. He was capping. You know what I mean? Arsenal didn't really try and buy Tonali. Oh, Arsenal tried to buy Tonali. Come on, they didn't. The agent said, do you want to buy him? They said, yeah. And he went, well, you can't. But maybe come back at a later date. Come on. We were never buying Tonali in January. See no trophy, Martinelli. Speak no trophy, Yacht. Can hear no trophy, Saka. That's nasty work, by the way. That is nasty work. We got to see trophies. Well, we'll see one at the Carabao Cup final. I don't know whether we'll be picking it up, but we'll see it as we walk onto the pitch. You know what I mean? So, yeah, listen, good result for Arsenal. Some good performances. In terms of, I thought 3 players weren't great. I thought the rest played quite well. I thought Calafiori, again, his weekly grab of the winger's shirt, which he does. Noni Madueke, M product, nil point. And Saliba got a bit roughed up, by Brobby. But he kind of, got hold of it second half and dealt with it. Listen, I can't believe I'm saying it, but Havertz, I think, is helping Gyökeres in that role. And I said it the other day, is that I think Havertz is now playing in the role that he played for Bayer Leverkusen. I think when we first signed him, played him left 8 in the Xhaka role, there was too much defensive responsibility. He was awful. But I think now, because we got Zubimendi and Rice, he's playing as a 10. He's playing as a second striker. And I think he looks a lot better. Words that I never thought I'd be saying, but I'm happy to say them. I don't care who's in the team, by the way. I don't care. I don't care who's in the team as long as we're winning. Yeah, Lee Judges, he summed it up perfectly with Noni. He said, he gets you off your seat, then straight back firmly into your seat when you see the end product. But no, Havertz playing well, man. He's got the freedom. He's joining in. He's making runs beyond Gyökeres. Gave him the ball quickly for the assist. I think at the moment, that's the partnership. I think that's the partnership at the moment. I really do. But we'll see, Get Odegaard. Well, do you know what? Let's move into that. Let's move into that conversation. Now, I don't want to get the community too excited because this signing for me would be very exciting. It's a quiet time of the year for Fabrizios and Ornstein. So what they do sometimes is they throw out big headlines that are going to engage communities, and we're going to run with it, and it gets him all kinds of, content that he can do outside of the transfer window. So he basically put a video out saying Chelsea are interested in Morgan Rogers, and so are Arsenal. So I said, you know what, Fabrizio, we will still talk about it. Obviously, I can't play the video, but it's out there on his channel if you want to see the exact content of that and see the way he explains it. We've heard for a while that Chelsea are interested in him, but surely if Arsenal genuinely are interested in him, you would think he would come to Arsenal ahead of Chelsea. But we will see about that anyway. But listen, Arsenal being linked with a move for Morgan Rogers. We've spoken about him a lot. The story says that Villa could demand as much as £100 million, which is crazy work. I can't lie. Like, I'm a fan of Morgan Rogers. 100 million feels a little bit uncomfortable, but the problem you've got is that you've got defensive midfielders going for 100 million. Decker's cost 100. Caicedo. Havertz cost 115. There's Grealish cost 100 million. I think Villa are using the Jack Grealish sale as where they're getting this price from. And the unfortunate thing as well is that he signed a new contract last season until 2031. So he's got 5 years left on his deal. So there's no way you're getting him out of there cheap. I've said it like this. In isolation, 100 million is crazy. But I would sell Odegaard and then I would buy Rodgers. I think you get minimum 40 million for Odegaard, right? Listen, Odegaard hasn't been great for Arsenal, but surely you get 40 million plus for Odegaard. He's been Arsenal captain. He should be. There's countries where you think he could play in those leagues and be more effective. If you can get 45 million, maybe 50 million at a push for Odegaard, and then I would pay 50 million plus Odegaard to get Morgan Rogers, if you look at it in that context. If you're just paying 100 million for him and keep him Odegaard, you're going a bit, that's too much. You don't need all that. But I would sell Odegaard. I mean, Chuck said we ain't, Chiku, sorry, said we ain't selling Martin, but I think Odegaard, if he can't get back in this team, would think differently. I don't think Odegaard would just sit on the bench. I think his ego would be demolished, as the captain, to get dropped and get benched. I think we have to understand nowadays that £100 million players are like probably £60 million players from 4 years ago. 100 mil was like world record transfer. Is you blowing up the market. I think you're going to see more £100 million deals going around. Alvarez. If we want Alvarez, you'd pay 100 million to get him. His release clause is 100 million. I think that's the going rate for a lot of these players now, which is crazy. Noni costs 52 million. So, but I think Odegaard would get a move to, well, now I'm thinking about it. I was just saying the Spanish league, but then Real Madrid wouldn't buy him. Would Barcelona buy him? I'm not sure they would with Dani Olmo and Fermin and those players. I'm not sure he gets there. Somebody said Bayern Munich. Maybe if they think that, Musiala coming back from injury might not be quite. It might need some help in that attacking midfield role. Part-time party said, big up C, haven't made a stream in a while. What's the news? Hope the family is well, bro. I'm good, man. I'm good. Do you know what? It's a quiet news day, to be honest. There's a couple bits to talk about, but we're generally going on over the weekend. Wiles me said, Leahy's right. Zubi is better than Prime, Perlo and Xavi. We'll just let that one slide because you are genuinely trolling, but I think Leahy was actually being serious. So back to Sociedad. Well, I don't think they could afford his wages now. Tonali was done for match fixing and under investigation. Yeah, he was betting on games, right? He's a risky signing. He's a risky signing because imagine we went and bought Tonali for like 70 million and he then gets done for betting again. And even remember, his last ban was 10 months. Last ban was 10 months, which means this next ban, you're looking at 1 year minimum. Look at Mudryk, how long he's been out for. I know that was obviously for drug related, but Tonali's a risky one. It'd be typical Arsenal. We're going to pay 75 million for him. And 2 weeks later, he's banned for betting. And you go, oh, he's not available for the next 18 months. And again, Fabrizio said in that same video that Arsenal will go back in for Tonali in the summer. And he said that basically Tonali's agent offered him, Arsenal were interested, but we couldn't do the deal. We didn't have the money in January to get the deal done. And also Newcastle were not willing to sell him. Couple of things, and bless you, just absolutely nailed kind of what I was going to say. Lay said, I was straight up catching strays in the chat. You can't handle the truth. You see after next season. I told you did. Lay lives in Spain. He knew a lot about him. He's been singing his praises for years. You know what? We're gonna let it marinate and see if you're right. We'll come back to you in a year. Let's see. He's saying that Zubimendi will be better than Vitinha. I'm not sure, but I hope you're right because he plays for Arsenal. Blessed said there, if you're going to Newcastle and spending big money, should you be going for Bruno rather than Tonali? But I think the problem is, I think there's sort of an acceptance that Tonali is probably going to leave Newcastle in the summer. There's a lot of stories saying he might want to go back to Italy, but then some stories saying he would go to an English club that are fighting for trophies. So I don't think Newcastle would sell Bruno Guimaraes. There's no noise coming out of his sort of camp that he's interested in a move. So I think that's where it becomes more difficult. Yeah, someone just said there, Harold's Tonali. Tonali is 25. Wow, I actually thought he was older than that. So peak years are ahead of him. Harold's Bruno Guimaraes. The thing with Guimaraes, wow, Guimaraes is 28. He's 29 this year as well. I think Arsenal will be going for Tonali out of the two. Air Max, big up to you, man. He said, Curtis, I won't be on streams anymore for a long time. I've got a new job with new hours. Big up yourself. Congrats on the new job. And listen, don't worry. You know, maybe every now and then you can catch it on playback after you've been at work. So congrats. Nature said you're being serious. Bayern and Barca suit Odegaard style. They would buy him. I'm not saying they don't suit him, by the way, Nature. I'm saying that do they need him? You know, Bayern have got Musiala. I'd say he's better than Odegaard. And Barca have got Dani Olmo. Is Dani Olmo better than Odegaard? I think at the moment there's not a real need for Odegaard, is what I would say. So listen, do you know what? This market in the summer is going to be a very exciting market. Like I think even if Arsenal win the league, we got to get busy. The worst thing we can do if we win the league is get caught up in the emotion and go, oh, yeah, these lot won us the league. We're going to keep all of them. Shake hands with some of them and say, thank you very much. Now you move on because we need to go to the next level. If we win the Prem this year, we need to say, how are we going to win this Champions League? We need to get a star above our badge. How are we going to win back-to-back Premier Leagues? How do we get rid of Pep Guardiola? How do we have a period, even if it's 2 or 3 years, of dominance where we go and win 5 trophies? That's what needs to happen. We need to go and win silverware. We've waited a long time to have any period of dominance. So if we win the league, I want to see move on Jesus, move on Odegaard, move some of these players on. I want to see Alvarez. I want to see a Tonali. I want to see a Yildiz or a Leao coming through the door. I just saw that about. I mean, listen, the story's a bit shaky because it's coming from a bit of a weak source, and also where I don't think this has a lot of credibility is it's saying Arbeloa has advised Real Madrid. Well, what kind of credit has Arbeloa got? You know, as you're in temporary charge at Real Madrid, you ain't getting the job. And he isn't doing a particularly great job. But Arbeloa has reportedly advised Real Madrid to consider selling Eduardo Camavinga this summer amid concerns over his performances. The French midfielder is out of plans for the rest of the season, is viewed only as a backup, a role Arbeloa is not keen on offering. A fee of around 70 million euros is being mentioned, with Liverpool and other top European clubs monitoring the situation closely. Arbeloa's position could open the door for a big summer move. I'm a massive fan of Camavinga. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know the injury record, but I think he's brilliant. I think he's brilliant. I like him more than like Tchouaméni, especially. He's 23 years of age, box to box. When he's at it, He's an absolute baller. He's an absolute baller when he's at it. The problem you're going to have is how do you fit him in the Arsenal team? Because Arteta he loves Zubimendi and Rice. He's not an attacking midfielder. So I can see the Tonali one. I can really, really see the Tonali one happening. If I'm being honest. Let's have a look at his injury record since he's been at Madrid. Let's have a look. How injury prone is Camavinga? Because it's one of them where people always say he's injury prone, but is he? I actually don't know how many injuries he's had. So we'll have a look. We'll have a look, people. So this is his time at Madrid. Camavinga had corona, torn lateral knee ligaments kept him out for 51 days. 23-24, he was out twice. Missed a total of 56 days, so just under 2 months. Not terrible, but not great. 24-25, knee injury, 45 days, then a muscle injury, 17 days. Then a hamstring, 22, then another hamstring. 24-25 was terrible. 10, 14, 20, 33 games missed. 25-26 this season, ankle injury, 37 days. Another ankle injury, 12 days. He's missed 9 games. There's a lot of different injuries. Ankle, knee, hamstring, ankle again. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I got to be honest. Not in La Liga as well. It's not even as physical as the Prem. I think he's absolutely fantastic as a player. You just got to wonder, can he overcome those injury issues? Yeah, Lay, I mean, you're in Spain. What are you saying? He said, I love Camavinga. Wouldn't go anywhere near him. His injury record is longer than a career criminal. Premier League will finish him. Yeah, I mean, you've got there, look, 1, 2, you've got 2 knee injuries. You've got 2 hamstring injuries. And you've got 3 ankle injuries. That's not a good look. And you bring him to Arsenal and you're training on the car park. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not sure. And I don't think you'd get him for 70 million euros. I think he'd be more than that. Madrid, I think, would ask I think he'd be 70 million pounds or higher. Jan said, are you going to be on the Big Six or Shug got hold of you? Listen, man, you know me, people. Like, if I'm invited on shows and those shows are shows that I like and I get on with people, I go on there. You know, Big Six is a quality show. Obviously, I get on with everybody on that channel. But obviously it means that Turkish would have to not be on a show to invite an Arsenal guest on. So I'd be happy to go on there. Big Cruz said, my Arsenal friend out here in Texas said all of our wingers were world class. Big up yourself. I mean, I know it gets hot in Texas. Maybe they had heat stroke. I don't know. But nah. I'm not sure we've even got one world-class winger. In fact, I would say we don't have one world-class winger. But, you know, yeah, I think you did compare him to Shug. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, people. Right, let's move on. Let's talk Arsenal. Forget these meaty transfer stories that probably won't happen. Although I do think the Tonali link could potentially happen. That one, I don't think he's wild. I think Camavinga, I don't think that one happens. I don't think Madrid will sell him. What say has Arbeloa really got in transfers over there? This came up the other day and I thought, we'll have a quick look at this, people. We'll have a look. This is up until the 18th of April, which is when we play Manchester City in the Premier League at the Etihad. Obviously, I think there's about 5 games after this game as well. But this is the next run of fixtures. 10 games, I believe. 3, 6, 9 Man City games, 10 Arsenal games. Because obviously the Wolves fixture was moved because of the cup final. So this is Arsenal's run of fixtures until we play Man City in the league. And listen, I know you should never, I know you should never predict games or look at what you think might happen, but that's the beauty of creating a YouTube channel. You break the rules, people. So we are going to have a little look and just sort of see who we think has got the more difficult running of fixtures and how we should manage that and where we think we might be at by the time we play them. So obviously we got Brentford away on Thursday. I'm not taking anything away from that game. That is a hard game. They got a very good home record. They got the second top goal scorer in the Prem in Igor Thiago. That Coyote's got a monster of a long throw-in. It's going to be tough, but I expect 3 points. Tough, but we should be winning that game. Obviously, then we got Wigan, FA Cup, make changes for that and win that. Wolves away, yeah, should be an all-you-can-eat restaurant. Serve yourself. Do what you want. Then I think we've got a tricky 3 games. I'm going to say 3. And I'm not going to get too caught up in the Premier League table because them lot down the road, Nando's FC, this will be their cup final. Make no mistake about it. That will be their cup final. They are probably not going to win anything this season. So what they will want to do is scupper our title hopes. So the atmosphere will be crazy that day. You just know it's going to be. We're going to have to manage that. We then play Chelsea at home, which, Chelsea's not easy. It's not easy. So you've got to manage that game. And then we've got Brighton away, which I always think Brighton away can be a tricky game. So I think that period there of those 3 games is where it's like, if we win those 3 games, we're flying. We're absolutely flying. But if we drop points in them, that's where it can get a bit techie, you know what I mean? But who knows who's going to be available for them at that point. Everton at home, I think we'll beat Everton, but they are playing all right at the moment. They're having a little run, but Grealish out for the season. Then it's Man City in the cup final. I mean, that game is absolutely huge. Probably has a big effect on the game that is 2 weeks later in the league. We go to Wembley, beat them, stand at the top of the steps with gold medals around our neck, and Odegaard's lifting the trophy. We're going to have so much belief that we can go to Man City. Then Bournemouth at home. Then obviously we do go to City. There's some hard games there. Just looking over briefly, I would say that maybe we've got the trickier fixtures in this next sort of period. But they've got Fulham at home tomorrow, which Fulham are a weird team that, like, some games they're terrible and they just get battered. And then other games, Harry Wilson scoring 30-odd rockets. You just don't know what you're going to get from them. And they've got about 4 ex-Arsenal players. So will they have some motivation? Iwobi, Smith-Rowe, Leno. I don't know if Willian's still there, actually, but yeah, I mean, City are going to be very motivated because of what happened at the weekend. It's not impossible for Fulham to draw that game, but if they just go through the motions, they'll get battered. So it's a difficult one. I'm not, I ain't doing no watch along for that, that's for sure. Then they've got Salford FA Cup, easy game. Like, we've got Wigan, they'll make changes. Newcastle at home. I mean, Newcastle looks shot to pieces at the moment. Under normal circumstances, that would be a tough game, but they are dreadful at the moment. Leeds away. I'm hoping, we smashed them, but Leeds and Manchester, as cities, have huge rivalry. I'm hoping that atmosphere and they just turn it into a feisty affair, and, never know. Calvert-Lewin might have something in his handbag for that Man City defence. Who knows? Forest at home, yeah, the way Forest are playing, that's smoke. West Ham away, Nuno, I don't know. Then the cup final. The good thing is, after the cup final, they've got Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So if we beat them in the cup final, you just don't want to be going to Stamford Bridge a week later and Caicedo's kicking you on the ankles, and then we're turning up the week after at their home ground. So I think that's their sort of 3-game spell where you think they could slip up. It's difficult because you look at these fixture lists and, you can drop points. We could go to Brentford and draw. They could draw against Fulham at home tomorrow. It's so unpredictable. Yeah, somebody was saying Pep's got an unbelievable record against Fulham. I think that's the club that he's beaten the most in the Premier League. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, not much hope of them getting a point off them. But you never know, man. Need Smith-Rowe and them to be motivated. Is that true? Fulham have lost their last 19. Listen, records are there to be broken, man. Yeah, Leeds can cause them problems, Dens. Leeds, they drew with Liverpool, drew with Man United, beat Chelsea. There is an international break, and it's after the cup final. So I honestly think that cup final is going to have such a damaging effect on whichever team loses. Because can you imagine all that build-up? You go to Wembley, you have a cup final, you're playing against the team that is your closest rivals in a title race. And if you lose, you've got to dwell on that for 2 weeks during an international break. Do you know what I mean? It's a nightmare. We'd be in mini meltdown. Do you know what I mean? And if we won, we'd be going, oh my days, we've won a trophy, Wembley, 80,000. That cup final is going to be absolutely massive for this season. I've never put so much importance on a Carabao Cup final as I have this year, or whatever it was called back in the day. You know, what was it? Littlewoods Cup, Coca-Cola Cup, Worthington Cup, Carling Cup. They changed it every other year, but this year I want that trophy so much because I think we win that. I think we win the title. Sometimes an international break works out. You know, if you've got a couple players coming back from injury, it can help you sometimes. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. All I know is that I will not be doing watch-alongs for hardly any of those Man City games because it could just be added stress. Do you know what I mean? We might wait until we play them in the cup final. I don't even want to look at City. But you know, with City, I come in it, I come on the chat and I'm like, listen, let's ignore City and just focus on what we're doing. And that is true. We do have to focus on what we're doing because we're 6 points clear. And if we go to Brentford and beat them, which we can, and we're favourites, and we go and smash Wolves, which we should, they're bottom, and we go and beat Tottenham, they're in the bottom half, we're better than them, we've beat them there the last few years, which we could, and we beat Chelsea at home, we got a great record against them, Brighton can beat them, Everton. Imagine we win every league game until that cup final, which it's not impossible. But on the flip side, you could, so I say all that, ignore City, but then it's impossible. Man City are playing Fulham tomorrow, and I'm like, listen, ignore Man City. But that game kicks off, I think, 7:30. 7:29, I'll turn that channel on. How do you avoid it? I wish I had the strength to go, do you know what? Don't watch the game. Check your goal, like your live score app or whatever at the end of the game and just see if they won or not. It probably remove a lot of the stress. But in reality, 7:29 p.m., I'll be turning the channel on because I have to just watch it to see what happens. It's just football, innit? It's just football. It's the way it goes. We've just got to win games of football and keep winning games of football and see where it takes us. You know, if we win, we're in control of our own destiny. At the end of the day, we're in a better position than them. We got 5 goals better goal difference. We've also got 6 points more than them. So we have to. Relegation teams can be tough at this point of the season. City are playing 2 before they run. West Ham and Forest, we have to play a relegation team too. But, bro, honestly, like, we've all seen it before. You can play a West Ham, bottom 3. You play them early in the season. They've got a manager that's absolutely all over the place, and you batter them. You can play them in April. Nuno's got them playing better football. They're more organised. Relegation teams can be some of the hardest teams to play at the back end of the season because they're fighting for their careers, those players. Not all of those players are going to get a move. West Ham are a reasonably big Premier League club, 60,000 stadium, big support, good history. Well, not massive history in terms of trophies, but we all associate West Ham as a solid Premier League outfit. Them going in the Championship would be an absolute disaster for them. They'd lose Jared Bowen. They'd lose all their best players. They'd be in big trouble. So, Circus's fault. I'll talk to him too. No, I'll catch up with him. Is he going to Brentford, is he? We have to get the OG show going again. Michael said Tonali looks like Bellerin. Yeah, well, I hope he don't play like Bellerin. Big up Josh. Said, big up Curtis, my guy. Hope you're well, bro. I'm good, bro. We're top, you know what I mean? Jashar is like part-time Palace, part-time Arsenal. You know what I mean? That photo's quality, by the way. The face-off of Ian Wright and Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry. Would you take Bowen? Bowen is, in my opinion, better than Noni. I think the problem with Jared Bowen, he signed a long contract, and I think he's nearly 30, so I think if Jared Bowen was 2 or 3 years younger, one of the big clubs would have took him. He's got a good goal record, but I think his age and the contract goes against him. Favorite Eddie Murphy movie of all time? It's so difficult because I'm a massive fan of Eddie Murphy. I had his whole collection growing up. I love the Beverly Hills Cops, probably 2. Beverly Hills Cop 2, maybe. Coming to America. But there's other ones as well when I think about it. So good. So good. Yeah, Trading Places, legendary as well. Trading Places are classic. I think the first Coming to America, not that sequel that they did, by the way. I didn't really rate that. I think the first Coming to America. Alistair Wald. Yo, man. Nah, listen. I wish we could do watch-alongs for movies. That would be legendary, wouldn't it? That would actually be legendary. Murphy or Pryor, that's tough, man, because I grew up in the Murphy era, but I did. Oh, how have I forgot that movie? That's actually potentially one of my favorite movies of all time, Life. Him and Martin Lawrence. I actually watched that movie about 3 days ago. It's phenomenal. He's just phenomenal, Eddie Murphy, man. Richard Pryor is unbelievable. You know, he's stand up. He's probably the guy that set the levels, man. Brewster's Millions, great film. Richard Pryor is incredible, but I grew up more on the Eddie Murphy era, so. Axel Foley! Yeah, well, I don't know if we can do that, though. I don't know if you're allowed to. Yeah, Life is free on YouTube. It is. I watched it on the plane last year. I was looking, I was like, nah, man, it was there. I couldn't believe it. You gonna eat your cornbread. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Them movies are just, that's true, you know. Nah, we could do Twitch movie watch-alongs. That would be incredible. You're giving me ideas here, you know. That's my cornbread. Nice. That film is incredible. Norbit's quality as well. Big up Glam member for 17 months. Appreciate that, man. Big up. You can't beat Norbit. You cannot beat Norbit. What a film that is as well. Right. Couple other things to talk about, people. Yeah, Friday is unbelievable. Friday is one of the greatest films of all time. The whole set, all three of them is just unbelievable. Considering the actors changed, you know, in terms of going from Chris Tucker to Mike Epps, I find it unbelievable that movie was so strong afterwards. You know, it doesn't often happen. Yo, big up Rants for the raid, man. Big up Rants Aroni. Make sure you follow Rants. Every time I see his streams now, like he's wearing sunglasses. You know what I mean? When he was when Amarim was the manager and I used to pop in and look at the streams, man just looks slumped in the chair, you know what I mean? Now I see him sunglasses with no sunshine out. Man's living the high life with Carrick. Does Carrick get the job? Do they get caught up in the Carrick hype? Does that brother cut his hair tomorrow? Is it tonight? Are Man United playing tonight? Yeah, West Ham, 8:15. Does that brother get his hair cut? Not cutting my hair until Manchester United win 5 games in a row. They're at 4. I bet part of him deep down doesn't want Man United to win, you know. Because let's be real, without being disrespectful, and I listen, I hope I'm not being disrespectful. And maybe he makes content, so I could be getting this guy wrong. But like, what happens to him if he cuts his hair? Like, what does he do? Does he restart and say not cutting his hair until they win 10 games? Like, I don't know. He's living the high life right now. He could probably do with them losing. He said it starts again when he cuts it. Yeah, it just ain't gonna work the second time, is it? It ain't gonna work. You've cut your hair now. Move on. I think that's the point where he's got to do something else. But yeah, who knows? Who knows, people? Right. Mikel Merino had his surgery yesterday, and he will be out. It's interesting because when it first occurred, there were rumours. Well, Arteta actually said it that, you know, they were hoping he'd be back by the end of the season. But now the rumours and the stories coming out of the Spanish media are that Mikel Merino will be out for the season. Mikel Merino will undergo surgery, which he's now undergone. He put up a picture as well on his account of a stress fracture on his foot today. Although Arsenal had not put a timeline on his recovery, he's expected to be out until the end of the season. But the player hopes to be fit for the World Cup. I mean, listen, it's a big loss. It's a big loss. I think Merino is a very good squad player, and I hope that's not coming across as disrespectful, because I think at full strength, if you were picking your Arsenal 11, you probably wouldn't pick Merino in it. But he certainly has a good influence. You know, he's a good squad player. He comes off the bench, chips in with goals, can go up front at times. This is a loss, man. This is the kind of player you want 20 minutes to go to see out a game. Or the good thing is at the moment, our squad is pretty much fit and available. I think outside of Merino and Max Dowman, we're at full strength. So, and you've got to think now, if Havertz is in attacking midfield and Gyökeres is up front, then Jesus is your rotation option off the bench. If one of those three gets injured, you're struggling to then play that Havertz-Gyökeres partnership if Jesus, for example, got injured. So it is a loss. And, well, Cello saying Nwaneri should have stayed. Nwaneri, actually, I was thinking the other day, because obviously my plan was to do Liverpool, Man City, then PSG, Marseille, double watch along. But we were recording forever at 8 o'clock when the PSG game was on. PSG battered Marseille, and Ethan got dragged at half time. So, yeah, it wouldn't have been a successful Ethan Nwaneri watch along. They got banged 5-0. 5-0, you know. Dembele is cooking, by the way. He is in form, and Ethan got dragged, and yeah, they got absolutely battered. They were 2-0 down at half-time. Oba came off the bench, and they got smashed. I like this comment. This is a funny one. Loving your Kai U-turn, says Charles. Listen, I say it all the time, Charles. I'm a reflection of what I see when it comes to the Arsenal players. I never sit there and go, right, I tell you what, I'm not a fan of this player, so I'm gonna diss him no matter what he does. Nah. When Noni Madueke was twisting up fullbacks, first 5-10 games of the season, I was going, yo, maybe I got this guy wrong. Then he started running it out of play and hitting the goalkeeper every time, and I went, no, I'm not having it. When Havertz was playing in midfield, he was poor. We all said get him out of midfield. He went up front, he had a purple patch, it looked good. Then he faded, and we were desperate for 2 years to get a striker. Get Ollie Watkins, get Ivan Toney, get Gyökeres. Some people wanted Sesko. We all wanted a striker. Now, the role he's playing in, it's working. He's helping Gyökeres, and he's playing well for us. So keep him in the team. I'll have him on the green screen. Yeah, killer Kai Havertz all the way. Whoever helps Arsenal get over the finish line, I will support them. If you're jeopardising us by putting in stinky performances, I'm going to call you out. I am. I had a little comedy spin to it, you know what I mean? But some people don't even like the comedy. I called Noni Whoopi Goldberg. I thought that was quite funny. I said that he should have kept the headband over his eyes when Brobby headlocked him. You know, I thought that was quite funny. Havertz, Donkey, but he says his nickname is Donkey. Shrek, Donkey, Eddie Murphy does the voiceover. I think that's perfect. I want that Donkey to win us the title. Don't take any offence to it. It's his nickname. Pat, I want to shout you out, man, because Pat's been in the community for a while. I just saw this comment, very sad news. Said, big up Big C. Said he got bad news this morning. His sister passed away this morning. You were really you were really close growing up. Drifted apart over the years. Wish you could say goodbye. R.I.P. to Jolie and Purser. Pat, thoughts go out to you and your family, man. It's it's the worst part of life, right? It's the worst part, without getting too deep and bringing, sadness to everyone. It's the worst part of life. You got to make the most, people. You got to make the most every day. Don't wait to go for that job. Don't wait to tell somebody how you feel, or you're only here once. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's a comedy, and I hope you don't feel I'm being insensitive on this. There's a comedy stand-up that Martin Lawrence does. I think it's called Run Tell That. If you've never watched that and you're into your comedy, watch that. And he talks about, ride this until the wheels fall off. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You just got to live, man. Who cares what anybody thinks? You just got to go for it. So big up to you, Pat. Appreciate the fact that you've tuned in today. Thank you for sharing that with the community. Shows a lot of trust. And listen, hope hope things get better for you. And obviously, big up the community, legendary community, all showing their support for you as well, Pat. Big up, and stay connected. Stay connected. And that's why you waste no time telling players how you feel. Exactly, man. Exactly. Havertz was high-fiving, man, at the side of the pitch in pre-season. I told you, listen, real talk. And I've told you this story before. One of the guys who works at Arsenal, obviously I won't mention his name, but every year we go on tour, he sees us, he has chats. He says, listen, he said, because he knows about my channel, he laughs. He says, oh, you're harsh on Arteta, aren't you? But he laughs about it. He said to me, he said, honestly, right? He said, a lot of these players watch content creators. And he said, a lot of the staff watch content creators to see what the feeling is when they sign players or they link with players or how players are performing. And he said to me, he said, you know, you're very much straight to the point. And he said, Mikel would have more respect for somebody like you who says it as it is, but he knows that you're proper, you know, you're an Arsenal fan and you care about the club, rather than somebody who just says whatever he wants to hear. So what he was trying to explain to me is that basically Arteta respects people who are straight up with him, and just he doesn't like people who say this but mean that, or you know, he likes people who are just straight to the point. And I was like, come on, man, you listen. People nowadays think that if a truth is painful, they can't say it. They rather tell a fabricated lie. Oh, don't say that. You know, forget that. Tell them what it is. It's easier to deal with the truth. Do you know what I mean? It's easier to deal with the truth, people. But yeah, no. Let's be totally honest, right? Let's be totally honest. Arsenal could easily stop me going in the press conference on tour. They could easily. Even though they're not in control of the tour because it's the promoters, Arsenal could easily say, look, this guy said this, this, and this. He can't come in the press conference. They could easily stop me going in that press conference. If they really looked through my videos and looked at what I said and thought, boy, that's a little bit too much. It's too disrespectful of players or the manager. They could easily do that, but they don't. They don't. You know what I mean? They don't. They know. It comes from a good place. I don't swear about these guys. I don't get personal. Yeah, there's a little bit of comedy element to it, but it is what it is. Well, Bav got dragged, but he was in the wrong dress code, you know. You can't turn up in the full kit. He didn't have the full kit on, by the way, but he did have the Arsenal shirt. It was a legendary moment. I wish I had like the Meta sunglasses on or something, so I could have recorded that. But it is what it is. Big up to Babs. If Strand Larson and Noni are 50 million, Odegaard is 60. The thing with Arsenal, it's we don't get the value of a player. If Strand Larson was leaving Arsenal and going to Palace, I don't think we'd have got 40, 50 million for him. That's for damn certain. Do you know what I mean? Although we did get 30 for Eddie, that's still a miracle. Odegaard, 60 million? Boy, I don't know. I think you'd be lucky. I think you'd be lucky. I think we'd get about 40 odd million for Odegaard if we sold him, just because of how we sell players. No, you're not allowed to wear anything related to a club in the press conference. It's got to be totally neutral. Even if you're an Arsenal fan and Arsenal creator, you've got to wear a plain t-shirt or just something non-football related. So those press conferences are very interesting. Do you know what? I'm thinking next year I need to record it, actually. You know, I'd love to. I could stream it live, but then I don't know if you're allowed to stream the press conference live. It's very interesting. It's very, you know, you go in there. So you're in this room before you go into the press conference room, and you just sit down at a desk. All these journalists, they've all got laptops out and stuff. They're probably looking at all the news and all the stats. I'm playing Football Manager, or I'm, you know what I mean, downloading music. So I'm sitting there with all these, you know, journalists, and I'm just there like, yeah, man, what question you going to ask? I'm like, yeah, I've got a couple in my head. I don't know. These guys writing them down on paper. There's all sorts of preparation. They're chatting to each other. You're going to ask this and you're going to ask that. Remember one year I went in the press conference. I had a question, and the guy before me asked the question. And then I was like, oh my days, what am I going to ask him? You know, that was my only question. And that was the first year that I went in the press conference. So that's why I asked the Mbappe question. Because Mbappe was leaving PSG. We needed a striker. This guy's just asked the question that I was going to ask. And Arteta answered it quickly. So I didn't even have a lot of time to think of another question. So I'm like, oh, damn, first press conference debut. I've got my question. This brother's asked the question. Then they pass the mic to me. Everyone's looking at me. Arteta's looking at me. Mikel, yeah, Curtis Shaw TV here. Do you think we could bring Mbappe to Arsenal? I don't like to speak about players of other clubs. I was like, okay, pass the mic. And I sat there and I went, uh-oh. You know what I mean? I didn't even get a good answer. And what was funny, when I came out of the press conference, people were going, like the journalists were saying to me, oh, you do know your question's going to get the most traction. I said, I was feeling a bit like, oh man, he's done me. I've asked a question that he's just shut down in one sentence. They goes, yeah, but you're going to get the most traction. I went, do you reckon? I went on Twitter, Fabrizio, oh, Arteta denies Mbappe going to Arsenal. I went, I'll take it. Now, don't get me wrong. In the comments, there were some people giving it to me. That question was terrible. You didn't get no answer out of him. What a waste of a question. You waited years. I said, okay, but Fabrizio, it's got 7 million views. I'll take it. To be honest, I feel like the next couple years, I got better answers out of him, to be honest. Yeah, you're right, man. The question was too questiony. Yeah, it was. It's funny because you think to yourself, yeah, I'll go in that press conferences. You get there, you go, oh, it's a bit of a pressure cooker, but I feel like I've done better since that one, to be fair. This year, I got the best question, which was the Saliba, are you going to sign the new contract? Which was funny because me and Cecil was standing there and we said to the guy, yo, can you bring Saliba over when he walks past? Because a lot of the time they shuffle them past the media to get them on the coach. He says, all right, but you can ask one question each and don't ask anything too controversial. So if you look back at that video, Cecil was being very well behaved because obviously he's there for AFTV. He's got to be careful. So he was like, oh, William, what do you want to ask? What do you want to win this season? So Saliba's probably thinking, oh, mate, he went Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League, which is the most obvious answer in the world. In my head, I'm going, there's only one thing we want to ask this guy. What is going on with a new contract? I went, William, when are you going to sign the new contract, man? We're waiting. The media guys, they're looking at me like, yo, I don't know if you were supposed to ask him that. That's a bit of a, you've pushed the boundaries a little bit. But Saliba was cool. He was like, all in God's time, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, we got him, man. We got him. He can't talk about God and not sign the contract. He ain't going Real Madrid now. We've got him. You know what I'm saying? So I said, yeah, man. So we've improved. You know, I started off as the apprentice. Mbappe to Arsenal, Mikel? Oh, no, we're not. Okay, yeah, it was a bad start. But we got better. We got better. Bro, the Leao one, I promise you, and I know people think I'm capping about Leao. The way he was acting, I could just tell he would come to Arsenal. He was saying things like, it's not my choice. So what you're saying then, if they bid for you, you would go there. I was like, yo, you on the left, Saka on the right. And he started covering his mouth and speaking. I was like, yeah, you definitely come to Arsenal. You know what I mean? But anyway, I wish we'd got the moment on camera with Zlatan. I think I uploaded the clip. You can hear me and Cecil talking to him, but the camera's on Zlatan. It doesn't show us two, but do a su, Mikel su. If we win the league, I think I'm going to do something a little bit more like, I got to do something. But anyway, right, what else have we got? We might be out of content. I think we're done. I think I've just waffled for the hour. It was a short and sharp one today. Yeah, I'm actually out. Got no stories left. Anyone got a story to share? No, we'll have a look at the league table. We'll have a little look at the league table. If it would have been longer yesterday because I would have gone through the press conference and done player ratings, but the Sunderland game feels like it was weeks ago now, so I don't feel like it's that relevant to talk about it. The presser is tomorrow. Yeah, no, a couple people have emailed me saying they can edit, so I'm going to get back to you people. I do appreciate it because we do need... I am missing out because... the short form content, I'm just not making the most of it. I ain't got time to clip it up and stuff, so if we can get a good editor from the community, it will definitely help. Premier League table, Man City play tomorrow. I'll be back at 1:30 tomorrow. Arteta's press conference is tomorrow for the Thursday game. We'll look at team selection, who's fit, who's available. Would you rotate at all? Certainly from my point of view, I'd bring in Capier back in for Calafiori. I thought he looked a bit shaky defensively. And I would possibly go with Martinelli on the right over Noni, because Noni's lack of end product is a little bit concerning at the moment. But we'll talk about that tomorrow and see what he says. Yeah, you can pay for clips. I know you can. Even StreamYard's got a thing now. They've got some AI where they'll clip up parts of your stream, but sometimes they clip up the wrong parts of it. And yeah, so you need somebody who's like watching the stream so they can say, oh, those were the good moments. But yeah, and Capier for me a bit more solid defensively than Calafiori, so I would probably bring in Capier back. I'd play Havertz 10 again. Gyökeres up front, definitely not Jesus. I would maybe go Trossard and Martinelli out wide. We'll have a think. That's a good point. Yeah, I'm forgetting actually. Trossard came off, so if that's an injury, then no, it's Martinelli and Noni. Maybe it was cramp. Maybe it was cramp. I'm not sure. I haven't actually seen anything about that, but we'll hear about that tomorrow. So, well, we know what his answer is going to be already. Oh, Mikel, how is Leandro? Well, we have another training session this afternoon. We'll see how he goes. That's all he's going to say. Salman said, you guys are on board. Curtis is slipping. I told him we'll probably get more members too. No one else on YouTube is doing that. Community would be vibes. I did see that email, Salman. Let me read that back. I'll read that back after. Can you imagine Arteta's arrogance if he wins the league? Yo, listen, I don't mind him being as arrogant as Pep, Mourinho, Sir Alex, Wenger, Klopp, all mixed in. Ancelotti, Conte. You know what I mean? Just win us the league. We'll all accept that arrogance if you win a league title. The difficulty has been accepting it with no major trophies outside of that one FA Cup. So let's hope he puts it all right. But people, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate your support. Tomorrow I'll be back. See, I saw one of your clips on X. I forgot the handle name. It was Football Reaction. Had 10,000 likes. Yeah, them channels they're filthy, man. They're filthy. But the game's the game. I get it. They get big views. They get big views, but they clip a lot of content creators up. There's no context there either, is there? Because sometimes you've said something for a minute and they'll clip up 10 seconds. And it makes you sound crazy. But the game's the game, people. Big up LSU Gunner. Bless C. Glad I got to tune in today. Big up to you, bro. I know you're not always able to get into the streams because of work, but appreciate you still around. And big up Brian, who's always supporting as well. We might have to get you modded, actually, because you're here pretty much every day. And FF said, the stream was too streamy. Big up to everyone. Appreciate the support. Hit the like button and subscribe. Hype up the video afterwards. I'll be back at 1:30 tomorrow. Press conference reaction. We'll look ahead to Brentford against Arsenal. And we'll also see who's fit and available. Big up. Enjoy your day. I'll